Hi guys, welcome back to the Healthspan Collective. Today we're doing a little bit of role reversal for me. So I have my sister, Mackenzie Peterson, here with me today, and she had a great idea. She was like, you interview all these really great people on your podcast. You have talked a little bit about your health journey along the way, but you've never really dove into each chapter and how you got to where you are today. So that's what we're going to do today. She's going to interview me and we'll kind of walk through my health journey and everything that it has entailed from beginning until now. And I'm really excited. Hi, Mackenzie. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Gorge. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you.
I feel like this has been not a long time coming, but like what our dreams were made of, potentially, maybe. Okay, yay. How does it feel to be in the opposite seat?
To be interviewed?
Metaphorically, yeah.
It feels funky. I feel, I'm almost like a little nervous.
Okay, that's understandable. I mean, I'm nervous. This is my first time hosting, but we're going to slay.
This is your first podcast ever.
Ever, yeah. Avid listener, but first time talker.
Yeah. First time, what is it? Long time listener, first time caller?
Yeah.
Well, we'll do great. So
yes, we will, and I'm going to take it away.
Okay.
So in my eyes, you're essentially a health queen. I feel like I go to you for anything health-wise. Like, you've totally figured out your PCOS, what works best for your body. But let's rewind a little. Let's go back to the very beginning. Let's go back to, like, the first time you remember being self-aware about your body or your body image.
Oof. Okay. So that would date even before I was ever diagnosed or even was feeling my symptoms of PCOS. Now, I've done a lot of work on it recently, and nowadays I'm able to realize that I had a little bit of body dysmorphia and, a funky relationship with food even before things got serious with my health. And I think that's a lot of just, environmental, like being a kid. That's what we were taught. Our parents were super into health and wellness. Dad was a bodybuilder. They both, to this day, they both do an hour of cardio every day. They both lift weights avidly as well. They're thinking constantly about what they eat. Mm-hmm. And
they were really like ahead of their time.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And it's all good, but it can just be processed in a child's mind. We just morph things sometimes.
Totally. And I think even just being a female growing up in South Florida.
Yeah.
Where, you're not layering by any means. So, so you're kind of on display more than like if we grew up in Jersey or literally anywhere else that's not like a hot environment.
No, totally. Where everyone's always in a bikini, and the standard of beauty and body image is very high. It's very, I feel like when people come to visit South Florida, you hear people say like, oh wow, everyone is like skinny and beautiful here. Mm-hmm. And that was the environment that we were in. So it was important. And I honestly, candidly, I got a lot of positive affirmation about the way my body looked from a very young age. We're naturally pretty muscular.
Yeah, I mean, you had a six-pack at like age 12. So.
Yeah. And I remember my friends being like, how do I get abs like that? And I was like, I don't know. I run 2 miles and do 200 crunches before bed every night, which is like crazy that I was 12 years old and doing that.
True. But to your credit, you always were, like, you always wanted to be an adult. So I think you just saw what was modeled to you as being an adult.
Yeah.
So you just kind of went with that.
Yeah, for sure. It was part of, like, I just wanted to be, like, older.
Mature.
Yeah. Exactly. But, yeah. And then things shifted a little bit.
Yeah. So walk me through that. It was essentially, like, again, the parents' pinnacle of health, children was also a pinnacle of health. And then I want to say around, like, going into high school, end of middle school, you had your first breakup. You were going to a new school. There was a lot of maybe a few changes happening where in the past we had a very consistent day-to-day from the time we started school. Like, we went to the same school our whole lives.
Yeah.
Till high school. Plus a breakup. Plus, your body just started to change.
Yeah, your body
essentially.
changes as a teenager, right?
Yeah.
And it's, now we know so much, and I know so much about like the mind, body, spirit connection, right? And I had so many different things shifting at one time. My friendships were shifting, my relationship was shifting, my schedule was shifting. I was really burning myself out at a young age because I'm such a pleaser and an overachiever type. And I was a really high performer in volleyball. I played volleyball. And in school, I went to a really challenging high school. And it feels silly to talk about now as a 31-year-old that like I was so, trying so hard as like a 15-year-old. But I was doing the most. Like my volleyball practice was from 8 to 10 p.m. every night. I would come home from that practice. I'm also like an ADHD procrastinator, so I wasn't great at absorbing information in class, but I was smart enough to be in a lot of, honors and AP classes. So I would come home and teach myself everything, which was a lengthy process, especially.
Oh my God, you were literally in your room till like 10 p.m. I remember coming home after school. I didn't see you unless we ate dinner, and then it was back in your room you went.
Yeah, and then I was on this team, and I was getting home at like 10:30 p.m. and then trying to study after that.
I think it's also just like first child energy.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I feel like everything I've heard, it's the first child is the overachiever, like strives.
Yeah, totally.
Strives for the tippy top.
Exactly. But yeah, so all that to say, it did lead to a little bit of a binge eating cycle. And part of that was almost like cultural norm with my girlfriends. Like we loved baking cookies and cakes and all these like fun things. And we would all eat them. And I was definitely eating a little bit more than others, not even realizing, but my body really reacted. And I was kind of in a place of self-denial. I was like, no, it's, like I just wanted to be like everyone else, really.
Yeah. And around what age is this where you started noticing these things?
That was that like 15 to 16 age era. And that's where my PCOS symptoms really came on. And my prominent symptoms were I was super inflamed. So it was like I gained 30 pounds, but it wasn't like I gained 30 pounds of fat. It was just like when you see pictures of me now, I'll see if I can find some, but like I just feel like my face was so round. My belly was really like distended. It looked pregnant. And then like the PCOS side of it, my testosterone was elevated. So I almost had like trap muscles. Like I was like I was heavy and puffy, but also like really muscular.
Yeah, it wasn't like you just put on love handles. You know what I mean? Like it just, you got larger, but it also wasn't, it was very sneaky because it wasn't, it was just all of a sudden it was kind of like, oh, I look different.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I
looked
mean?
like somebody like pumped me up with air.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it was, we ran blood work. My testosterone was high. My insulin was high. I was pre-diabetic range. I remember one of my girlfriends being like, you have facial hairs, which is, what every teenage girl wants to hear. But yeah, so we noticed these things, we being like myself and mom and dad, that it was like, this is really unusual. Like something's wrong.
Right.
And we went to a few pediatric endocrinologists. And
was that the first step?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
We went to like 4 different pediatric endocrinologists.
I remember for me, it felt like a year, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was just like PCOS wasn't a thing at that time. Like I feel like people know about it and are educated about it now, but that was not a common lingo amongst the medical field.
Not at all. I feel like until the past like 5 years, like it's really blown up, I think, with TikTok and social media of girls talking about it, which I love. Yeah. Now it feels like more people have PCOS than don't or have that diagnosis. But which makes sense because we have this like overworking American culture where it's so related to, high cortisol levels and high sugar levels with our diet and everything. But yeah, we went to at least 4 different endocrinologists. They all told us nothing was wrong with me.
Right.
I remember mom in particular asking, like, could it be something she's eating? You know, we switched from cow's milk to almond milk. And I remember in particular one doctor being like, almonds don't have teats. We were like, what? Mom and dad thought I had an eating disorder because I was really intolerant to dairy. And sometimes if I ate ice cream, it would make me vomit.
I remember that.
And so they took me into an eating disorder clinic. And I remember them being like, no, she doesn't have an eating disorder. Maybe everyone told me to try Weight Watchers. So I tried Weight Watchers. I went to meetings. Mom came with me and just like in support. And I tried it all. You know, we went to all the different doctors. And so we switched from traditional doctors to more functional medicine doctors. And there were little things along the way that were helpful. That's where we got the suggestion to switch off cow's milk dairy. But yeah, it was overall, everyone was saying just eat less. And so I learned how to count calories and macros and all the things. And once again, I'm this like overachiever type. So I got really like hyper vigilant about it.
Sure.
It was actually kind of like a bonding moment for me with dad because he like knew the science of it all like so intricately with
From bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I also just want to highlight how I remember, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, you and mom were made to feel essentially crazy.
Oh yeah.
With all these doctors.
Oh yeah.
Like them telling her you don't know how much she's eating actually, like she's lying to you.
Totally. And everyone thought that she was like
Munchausen by proxy.
Kind of. Like they thought it was like a Munchausen's thing, or they thought that she was like pushing me because she was so like fit, and they were like they thought it was like eating disorder, like she was like pushing an eating disorder on me kind of thing. And I was like, no, I don't feel well. Because the other thing in all of this was like I felt terrible. I was so fatigued.
You were so foggy.
I had so much brain fog. Like I said, I had this kind of like, I think I'm kind of naturally a little bit ADHD, but like I could not learn a damn thing in class. Like
That's why you did homework for like 5 hours when you got home.
Yeah. I couldn't focus. I still have a pretty bad memory, but like I had a terrible memory. Like you were always pointing that out to me, like, why don't you remember anything? I was like,
Truly.
No.
Truly. Okay. So then take me to your diagnosis. When did that happen?
2010, I believe.
Okay.
And our OBGYN, Kathy Fair, gave me that diagnosis.
Shout out Kathy.
Yeah. We had done enough research to ask for specific blood work markers. Dad had done the research actually and came to an OBGYN appointment with me, which she was like, I don't think I've ever seen a dad in my office before. Obviously, we weren't like doing anything like physically. Like, it wasn't a physical exam. It was just to talk to her, of course.
He's like our research king.
Yeah. She thought he was a doctor until like a year ago, which was hilarious. But we asked specifically for a full thyroid panel, a full hormone panel. Like he came in with a comprehensive list, and she ran them all, and she was like, you guys are right, this is actually something called polycystic ovarian syndrome. Then she did an ultrasound on my ovaries, and she was like, oh yeah, you have, we call it the string of pearls, and it was fibroids all around my ovaries.
Wow.
So she put me on hormonal birth control. And I thought that was cool.
Right. Yeah.
Which is funny.
It's also so common for that age group. And like for that time, it was like you turn 16, you get your driver's license. And if you're a girl, you also go on birth control.
Yeah. It was like this like rite of passage, which is
alarming
to look back on. And I hope that we're growing out of that as a society, because it didn't really do me any favors, and if anything, just kind of masked a lot of the problems.
Okay.
But I didn't lose any weight. My skin looked better, and my boobs got bigger, which I was excited about. But
again, every girl's cool factor.
Yeah, right?
That's what we dream for.
Yeah. But yeah, she put me on hormonal birth control and metformin, and yeah, I didn't feel much better. I was like, okay, that's cool. Now I don't have to worry about getting on birth control in the future.
Awkward conversation, crossed off the list.
Exactly.
Yeah, unnecessary.
Yeah. And then I went to college.
Okay. And not only did you go to college, you went to FSU, which is known for big Greek life, big drinking culture. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
You're going to party hardy.
Party hardy, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
I went to the Florida State University. While I was there, it was ranked the #1 party school in the country. I think 2 of the 4 years I was there, we would go back and forth with Arizona State University or something. And we won the national championship in football, which is like, you know, gold standard when you're in those southern schools. Like, it was the most fun. And I had a really great time. I really did.
It was a time to be alive, truly.
It was. Yeah. I had a lot of fun. But I still felt like crap, to be honest.
Yeah. So tell me about, we talked a little bit about body image before you got diagnosed, but tell me how your body image is slowly progressing in your mind. After you have this diagnosis, you're going to college, you haven't really figured it out yet on what works for you. Mm-hmm. I remember you're trying everything. You're trying every diet, every workout. So how are you feeling about yourself, and how are you feeling like physically?
I'm feeling not good about my body image in the way that I felt. I remember particularly frequently looking around my sorority house and thinking to myself, I'm the heaviest girl in the room right now.
Ugh, I hate that for you.
I know. And I think it was most bothersome to me because I was working really hard.
Well, I think
on
that's
my
what
health.
was so frustrating. It wasn't just I'm the biggest girl in the room and the people I'm surrounded by. It was like, I am working the hardest. Like, I do not deserve to feel this way.
And I remember multiple friends of varying closeness to me. They would see me in the gym. They would see what I would eat during the day and like have this confused look or about them when they would ask me about my health, because I was literally going to the gym every day doing an hour of cardio, whether I was running for an hour or on the stair machine for an hour, because everyone had told me take up long distance running if you want to lose weight. That's the only way to lose weight. And then I was also strength training because I knew the science behind that. The more muscle you have, the more calories you'll burn. So I was doing the absolute most. I would drink at least 2 cups of coffee in the morning, go straight to the gym, do that, come home, make a piece of salmon and green beans, and like do all of the right things during the day.
Totally.
Where I was really going wrong was that as part of being in this drinking culture, I would then go out 4 nights a week, most weeks, if not more. And drink, you know, like, I feel like I should lie about this, but like we're bearing it all today. Like probably 15 vodka sodas with lime.
Yeah. That's so honest though, because let's be real. Like if you went to college in South Florida, that's just what you're doing. That's the norm. You're keeping up with everyone else around you, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not like I was the only one doing that.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely, that was the norm. And living in this body where I felt so uncomfortable all the time, I also liked how I felt when I was drinking like that, because it was like I could kind of forget about how, you know, uncomfortable I felt in my body.
Totally.
And then I would come home most nights and have my reward. I was good all day. Now I had all this vodka soda and I was starving.
Sure.
And most nights house like a whole pizza or some sort of carby, cheesy treat. And that was a cycle. And genuinely in my mind, like, it's funny to look back on now and think about how much I was like living in this place of self-denial of like, truly the story I was telling myself in my mind is that my body is broken. I do quote unquote all the right things and just can never lose weight.
Yeah. Well, I think too, it's like, because, you know, it was like, we're going to drink vodka soda with lime because that's the least amount of calories. That's the best for you. But we're also going to have 15 of them. Yeah. So that kind of cancels itself out.
Right.
And then you're also working out extremely hard.
Right.
Which, you know, can be beneficial at times, but for women especially who struggle with hormonal issues, that is not the remedy caring for yourself. And I think the other part was you weren't working out because you loved yourself and you wanted to take care of yourself. Why don't you tell me how it felt? Like, what were you working out for?
I mean, to this day, I love working out. I love the way it makes me feel during and after the workout. I love the routine of it. So there was the element of like, I did enjoy the way it made me feel like in the short term.
Totally.
But I was overdoing it, which was inflaming me even more.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think too, what we didn't know at the time, I think our thought process was, well, the more you work out, the more weight you'll lose.
Right.
And like the harder I go, the more it should work, essentially. Yeah. Which was not the case, Annie, unfortunately.
Yeah, not the case, Annie, not the case. Yeah. No, I was going way too hard, and it was just this lifestyle. It was a lifestyle of extremism, and
it was a work hard, play hard mentality.
Totally. And it was just a lot for my body.
Yeah.
And that was college.
And then you went to study abroad your last semester of college.
Yeah. Yeah, I studied abroad, and once again, I had a ton of fun.
Yeah.
But I was literally the biggest I've ever been and the unhealthiest I've ever been. And at this point, I had learned a little bit about food intolerances. I remember I read this book that, I'm trying to remember who wrote it. A nutritionist wrote it, and it was talking about the most inflammatory foods. So it was gluten, dairy, corn, soy, peanuts, and two other things. I think meat was one of them. So I cut out all of that stuff. I would try to cut out all of that stuff. It's extremely restrictive.
While you were in Europe?
Before I went to Europe.
Okay.
And then, but my point is I was becoming aware of that stuff. And then everyone said, oh, the food in Europe is so much cleaner. You'll be fine to eat whatever you want.
Right.
And that sounded great. And I was just like, great. So that's what I did.
Well, a lot of people I feel that I've talked to people who do have gluten sensitivities, and then they go to Europe and they can eat pasta and they're totally fine.
Yeah, it's very true for some people. Right. Unfortunately, not true for me.
Not for you. Right.
Yeah, and while I was in Spain, I broke out into this huge rash on my legs. And one of my professors was an MD. And so I went to see him as a patient. He biopsied it, and he was like, this is a thyroid condition. And I think my thyroid was just absolutely freaking out because of how much gluten I was eating.
Yeah.
Because it's, in Spain, it's gluten at every meal.
Totally. Yeah. It's a food group.
Yeah. And like for anyone who's unfamiliar with food intolerances, a lot of it most of the time comes from gut dysbiosis and your gut being imbalanced, and you form leaky gut, and that's why you develop food intolerances. And because I had been going so hard for like in high school and college with like the yo-yo of restricting and binging and eating all these like quote like 100-calorie pack type foods, like a ton of chemicals.
Classic.
Even just like the supplements back then, like they just had a lot of shit in them, and it's terrible for your gut health. So yeah, my gut was pretty not well, and that's what made me develop such bad food intolerances. And then gluten at every meal just like sent my body into kind of a tailspin.
Sure.
So yeah, I broke out into this rash, and once again was just like feeling unwell, but also just like wanted to be like every other college kid. And we're like going to clubs every night and
right,
drinking wine at every dinner.
Doing the study abroad thing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And
came home and I was 30 pounds overweight before that, and I had put on an extra 20 pounds. Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah. I remember you came home from college and it was like, we are on a strict diet. It was like you essentially came home and started your own boot camp.
Yeah, I did. I came home and you would come to work out with me because it was like you were home for the summer. And yeah, I would go do these HIIT workouts and then do cardio. And then, I was eating like very strict.
We would go do an hour HIIT class, and then you would go to LA Fitness and do an hour 45 cardio session.
Yeah. But yeah, and like in that phase, it did actually work because I wasn't drinking so much and I was finally just like leveling out. I was also resting, which was helpful.
True.
So it's like even though my workouts were so inflammatory, I was also resting. So
Yeah, you had recovery time.
Yeah, that helped me a ton. And I was able to lose that weight. And I think during that phase as well, I switched off of hormonal birth control to getting on an IUD. And that was actually a helpful transition for me as well. I think just because it removed the estrogen component. So I was a little bit less puffy.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
And then I moved to New York.
Okay. And how are we feeling about ourselves at, how old are you at this point?
22.
22. What's our self-image like now?
Not great still.
Still, okay.
I mean, yeah, it's like it varies up and down, but I'm still overweight and I'm still feeling really uncomfortable in my own body.
Okay.
Just really inflamed all the time. Always really hated being in Florida just because I felt I have like a bit of a heat intolerance when I'm really inflamed.
Same.
And yeah, it just makes me feel really uncomfortable and frustrated in my body because I just feel so much more like puffy and bloated all the time. And it's just a very uncomfortable way to live.
No, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in New York. We're 22. We're taking on the big city.
Yep. Which I love New York. We're actually in New York right now, so it feels very full circle to be doing this here.
It does.
To this day, it's the best city in the world. I freaking love New York.
Love that for you.
And I loved living here.
You did. You thrived in this city.
I really did. In the same way, I felt like, and I can still sometimes feel like, I feel very uncomfortable in my body in Florida. For whatever reason, the energy in New York just lights me up. I love it here.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love living somewhere with 4 seasons. I love the transition of it all. Like it just feeds me spiritually, emotionally.
Oh, I love the seasons. Yeah, well, you're not in an oppressive heat on Christmas Day.
Yeah. You get to wear sweaters. Once again, like we were saying earlier, layer it up.
Yeah.
I think I was a little less uncomfortable in my body living here also because it's not 100 degrees year round. And yeah, you can kind of play with fashion a little bit.
I was going to say you're a fashionista.
Yeah.
And here you could really explore and like you are a blank canvas in the morning.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I got to I worked in a creative industry. I got to know myself on that level. And also the lifestyle of going to work every day just fits with my personality more. Like I feel a lot more productive at work than I ever did at school.
Right. Right, because you're focusing on things you're actually passionate about.
Yeah.
And I think, too, do you feel like moving to New York was essentially your first time of really connecting and discovering who you are?
Totally. And another really helpful thing was as I moved to New York, our good friend referred me to a health coach. I had never heard of a health coach before. I'd heard of dietitians. This is 2016, so it's like a fairly new concept. And I would do a session with her every other week, and she was the first one that really introduced me to the concept of, she was like, I want you to delete your calorie counting app. And that was
Queen.
Crazy to me.
Yeah.
I think it was the first time I really realized how sick my relationship with food was.
Sure.
Because that was part of my daily routine, counting how many calories I ate. And then it was just like, okay, like my mindset was like, okay, I'm in this deficit like for a certain number of days in a row, and then I can like treat myself kind of thing.
How much time were you thinking about food in a day?
Oh my God, 90% of the time.
Right, yeah.
Takes up so much brain space.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Especially during that time. So yeah, she introduced me this concept of like, we want to focus on your inflammation first, and in order to bring your inflammation down, I want to focus on whole foods. So if it's a whole food, you can eat it. If it's not, please don't.
Okay, give me some examples.
Sweet potatoes over bread.
Okay.
Like you're still eating carbs, but one is a whole food and the other one is made of refined flour.
Got it. So essentially, like if it didn't grow from the ground or come off a tree.
And like I could still have like like a dark chocolate, but it was the first time we really looked at like, I was like minimal ingredients rather than just like a low calorie option.
Right.
So I would go for like a 75% dark chocolate as opposed to like, yeah, like a low calorie dessert kind of thing.
Yeah, quality,
exactly. And it's not a novel concept. Now we all know like the less ingredients the better. You know, we have so much information about it nowadays, but it was really new information to me then.
It was. Yeah, I know it feels so silly to like break that down, but at the time it was quite the concept.
Totally. And she taught me a lot. It was a really eye-opening experience working with her. And really sparked a bug for me and lit up this new passion, because I had always like I said, I had kind of become really passionate about nutrition and learning about supplements and the way that they could help me and make me feel over the years. But this lit it up in a whole new way, connected the dots for me as to how I could really impact my health, because I started feeling a lot. I started getting a glimpse at how good I could feel if I followed this lifestyle.
Yeah.
My issue was New York culture at 23 years old is still super surrounded by drinking. So it was less than college because I had to go to work 5 days a week. But I would still go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday night most weeks, and I wasn't drinking quite as much as I was in college, but I was drinking quite a bit, which is super inflammatory for your body.
Sure. Well, I mean, talk about a work hard, play hard culture. That's essentially New York in itself.
Yeah, and I think that's part of, it's part of my personality. Like I'm saying, it's, I have this like overachiever, like I like to get stuff done. I like to make an impact. And yeah, I like to work hard and play hard, and it really fed
work
that.
for that reward.
Yeah, I really do. To this day, I still work on it a lot. Like I have to be really aware of when I'm pushing myself too hard.
Sure, I get that.
But yeah, working with a health coach was massively impactful for me, and she taught me that was the first time I really learned about living an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. And she really taught me also about like, she was a dancer and like a professional dancer before she turned into a health coach, and she was the one that first encouraged me to go to bar classes. Like Pure Barre was a big thing at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved that so much because I was a dancer when I was little. And it actually like put me in touch with my feminine side again.
Okay.
With exercise, which was a huge gift, because I had been really out of touch with that in years prior, because everything was hit, Orange Theory, like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And so I started doing bar classes while I was working with her as well, and started feeling really good, like feeling much better after my workouts than I was with other things. So I started learning about that. She was also the first one that suggested to me to get like a vitamin IV with magnesium. I had come down with a cold, and she recommended that, and I tried that for the first time, and that was hugely eye-opening to me. I'd never done an IV before.
She was your introduction to IVs? Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I also worked with her. She was super educational.
Yeah. And so when I came up, I worked with her for 6 months, and when my package came up, I felt like I learned a lot, and I asked her where she got her training, because I wanted to do what she did one day. And I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with it, but I at least wanted the knowledge, even just for myself.
Sure.
That she had. And she had done the Institute of Integrative Nutrition certification, and so I saved up my money and did that. A few months later, I did the next round.
Okay. And I feel like that's when it really clicked for you.
Oh my God.
Like, this is a passion, and also, how can I turn this into a career? Yeah.
Yeah, it was hugely. I was getting my MBA at the time, so I was simultaneously doing that. And I was dreaming of starting a nutrition practice, like an integrative nutrition practice.
Yes.
Dad had really pushed me to get an MBA, which I'm still grateful for, because I learned a lot about running a business, which is obviously helpful for what I do now. And he was like, his philosophy was always, you can do whatever you want, but just have your own business. You be the boss.
Totally.
So I was like, okay, maybe I could have my own integrative nutrition practice and have other nutritionists, holistic nutritionists, work with me. So yeah, and then throughout that process, I learned a ton about you explore every different diet under the sun and you really just delineate. They really encourage you to try things as you go.
Okay.
So that you can figure out what feels good in your body.
Oh. And
what
what felt good in your body?
It was really interesting. Something that actually felt good in my body that's like funny. I'm able to realize what was happening now, but I set myself back a little bit with it, was having a plant-based diet, because it felt really good in the short term. Like for the first couple of months, I focused on being plant-based.
Yeah.
I felt really good and I lost a little bit of weight and my inflammation lowered even more. Now I realize, but I got into the habit of eating too much fiber because I was still really hungry. So I would eat a ton of beans and cruciferous vegetables. And over time, it was a little too much on my gut.
Okay.
So that as a long-term diet didn't work for me, but it had felt good in the short term.
Totally.
So something like that. So
yeah, which I feel like is kind of an issue you continue to struggle with.
Yeah.
Of this feels good for now, and then didn't have the knowledge of having to pay attention to what it feels like later.
Yeah. It's like
Okay.
ignoring the signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like pushing through, you know?
Yes, exactly. Which is like what we were taught to do, is just push through.
Yeah, push through.
Yeah.
Don't think, just do.
Exactly. Put yourself on automatic.
Put yourself on automatic. Ugh. Yeah.
Okay, so you finished that class, or you finished that course.
Yeah, the certification.
The certification. What would you say was your biggest takeaway from that overall?
Bio-individuality. Everybody is different.
Okay.
And I still believe that to this day. I think for the most part, there are certain things that like we all need balance in our life, but kind of back to the plant-based thing, maybe I need more protein than you do.
Right.
Perfect example, you handle gluten a lot better than I do.
Yeah.
Like, just because being gluten-free makes me feel amazing doesn't mean it will make all my clients feel amazing.
I need a carb. Yeah. I need a bread.
Yeah. I need carbs as well, but gluten still does not make me feel well.
True. Yeah. Gluten does not affect me in the way it affects you. I
Yeah.
can go to Europe and eat pasta and I will be A-okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jealous. One
So
day.
sorry.
I'll be there one day. Yeah. But the concept of bio-individuality is like the core of that program. And it's still a concept I come back to on a day-to-day. And now it applies to even, peptides, hormones, treatments.
Right.
We do all these really cool treatments at Pureform and Humanot. And for the most part, that's why it's so important to work with a practitioner and to dive into not only your health data, but meeting with someone face to face and having a really experienced person in front of you, giving you a personalized plan. Because just because, this peptide stack worked for your friend Susie doesn't mean it's going to be the right thing for you.
Totally. Yeah. One size does not fit all.
No. Even if you are the same age and the same weight and the same nationality, you might have very different needs.
Absolutely. Okay, so you finish, you get the certification, you're like graduating grad school at this point.
Yep.
You meet Mike, the love of your life. Shout out Mike.
Shout out Mike.
Now where are we? Where are we with our health? Where are we with our life? Take me there.
I started working a corporate job. I loved it, but same thing, was definitely like working, myself to
The bone.
Yeah, the bone. And yeah, falling in love was actually like great for my health. I felt amazing. And then we kind of accidentally moved to Florida.
Right. Shout out COVID.
Shout out COVID. And while the world was like, shutting down and everyone was, obviously it's like, so I always say it's like so ironic because obviously in this global pandemic, I actually felt better than I had in 10 years prior.
Right. The unexpected gifts, honestly, from that whole shutdown.
So I was 26 years old and we came to stay with mom and dad for what we thought was going to be a weekend in Delray, and we stayed for 5 months.
Yeah, we were all living at mom and dad's house.
Yep. And mom and dad don't drink, so we started, you know, Mike and I, we both entertained clients a lot for work. So we went from drinking most nights of the week, even if it was wine at dinner, to maybe once a week we would get a bottle of wine and go like sit on the water and eat a bottle of wine with like some cauliflower crust pizza.
Right.
But that was, otherwise we were eating. Mom was cooking. Mom cooks really pretty healthy. Like she was always cooking gluten-free. Also, this was the first time I went consistently gluten-free.
Ah, okay.
For an extended period of time.
Got it.
And my belly went from looking pretty like consistently 4 to 5 months pregnant down a lot.
Your inflammation overall just kind of dissipated over time.
It really did. And it was funny because it was like I didn't care.
Right.
I was just like living. And I didn't have a lot of stress in my life comparative to before. And I suddenly felt better than ever. Not suddenly, but slowly started to feel better than ever. The clothes I had were all too big. Like I just like, my inflammation really came down in a significant way.
Yeah. I think that was the first time you slowed down since you were 15.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Started learning
because
like
it was
a new
just
way
like
of life.
Yeah, it was just like a very simple routine. Like the gyms weren't even open, so I would just like, yeah, I was sleeping more than ever.
Right.
And just relaxing more than ever, and I was in love, so I was just like happier than ever. And
gotta love those endorphins.
And it was so different even than like, you know, any other relationship I had ever been in. Like it wasn't that butterflies, like I don't know, like I don't even know how to describe it, like that like lusty feeling of like you're almost like nervous all the time, but it feels good. This was like I just felt safe.
Yeah, your nervous system wasn't out of whack with this person.
No, I just felt safe.
What a concept.
Yeah. What a concept. Exactly.
Ladies, how you know he's the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like, yeah, you had this inner knowing and this inner, safety and comfortableness.
Yeah.
And how do you think that affected your body image and how you felt about yourself?
It helped a lot. And one thing like I come back to is my body image is very intertwined with, it's like, yes, how I look in the mirror, but it's also how I feel in my body.
For sure.
You know, like, and it's, I've been dealing with it a lot lately, which I want to talk about. But it's just like this inflammation that I feel internally that also comes out as like just water retention that I'm holding and the brain fog and just, like it's all intertwined in the way that I feel in my body as a whole.
For sure.
And because that inflammation, that chronic inflammation really started to come down.
Yeah.
I just started feeling better inside and out.
True. I mean, you could put a side-by-side picture of you of like you look the exact same, but I know when you feel good and you're firing on all cylinders versus just something is not right internally because it's not the same. Yeah. But you can't tell that just by looking at you. Yeah. Like you look slay, gorgeous, amazing at all times, of course. But it does have to do with how you feel on the inside. Yes. Yeah. And it's literally like, you can see it in my eyes. Like if you know me, I remember mom and dad saying like, there's like a sparkle in my eyes when I'm like feeling well. Yeah, you glow. I feel like I say that to you all the time.
Oh, thank you.
You do. Okay, so we're living with mom and dad. Yep. We're home for COVID. Yep. You and Mike had just moved in together, came for the weekend, stayed for 5 months.
Yeah. We moved in together 2 weeks before we came down.
We had been together with your parents.
Yeah, we had been together for I think all of like 7 months. Then we moved in with my parents accidentally. Still paying rent in New York, which in retrospect should have not, but that's fine. It was a nice peace of mind knowing we had our apartment here that we could come to whenever we needed. Like whenever we decided we wanted to go home, we could go home.
Escape plans are important for situations like that.
Yeah. They very much are. Yeah. But yeah, and then we kind of came back and forth for the rest of, for another 6 months, because I quit my job and we got involved with Dr. Parita. We started concepting Pure Form. Dad and I had always, like I said, we had kind of bonded when I was younger and throughout the years over like a love of and passion for nutrition and supplements and wellness as a whole.
Right.
And we were always trying different stuff. Dad really got on the IV train, and, we joke that we had like Peterson vitamin cult going because he would have someone come to the house and give us IVs.
Truly. To
keep our immune system strong. We had discovered NAD.
Oh, yeah.
You're a big fan of NAD.
Big fan of NAD.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone who struggles with mental health or anything of that nature, get your NAD levels checked. And even just like getting, like, I feel like anytime I'm feeling a little like sluggish or just off, NAD, well, it's not the most fun IV to get. I literally feel better within like the hour.
Oh, yeah, it's so worth it.
Yeah.
It's so worth it.
Totally. Okay, anyway, so COVID essentially starts the Peterson performance cult. I mean, the
Peterson vitamin cult.
Yeah. Peterson.
And then he convinced Mike to go to Dr. Parita to get stem cells in his shoulder. And we were I remember Mike and I, like, day after day, we were sitting at dinner with Dad, just having like light bulb moment after light bulb moment. Being
Dad
like,
planting his seeds.
Yeah, Dad planting his seeds for his master plan. And yeah, we just we decided all together, okay, we want to buy out Dr. Parita's partners. We want to, kind of like take over this practice. Obviously, he's still the medical director, leading from a medical lens. We just really saw how much he was a diamond in the rough of every other doctor we'd ever met. He was so forward thinking, constantly. To this day, he does more research than anyone I've ever met. It's just constant. He's constantly like, we can barely keep up with the blogs he writes because he pumps them out so fast and just is evolving his practices so fast. So
yeah, he's a doctor who steps outside the box, which
is
huge for holistic medicine.
Yeah. So we got into business with him and we started concepting Pure Form. And then, I continued feeling good, and I was at a healthier weight than I had been for the previous 10 years. And then Mike and I got engaged.
Woo!
An exciting time for all.
Oh, yes.
And I had kind of another journey with my body throughout my engagement process.
Totally. Yeah, let's talk about that. So you get engaged. It is now time to plan the wedding. And
which you and I have been dreaming about forever.
Literally since we were little babies. But also, I think it shined this light of the pressure every woman feels on her wedding day.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
I just wanted to look a certain way. I wanted to look better than I'd ever looked,
Yeah.
And I felt like I had kind of like cracked the code with my PCOS. My blood work was like, if you ran my blood work, I remember our practitioner at the time being like, this is the best blood work I've seen amongst our patients. Like,
wow. I did not know that.
For someone who was pre-diabetic when I first got diagnosed, my A1C, which is like your long-term blood sugar, was, I think it was like 4.7, which is low. Like, it's very, very healthy. And I was still eating pretty plant-based during this time. But my hormones were balanced. Everything was looking really good.
Yeah, you were feeling the best I've ever seen you feel.
Yeah. And then, and I hired a trainer because I was like, okay, I want to like get serious about just being more structured about my routine. And I told her in the beginning, I was like, I have a little bit of a history of disordered eating patterns, so I'd rather not know. She was like, I'm going to put you on a meal plan to go with your workout routine because, as we all know, abs are made in the kitchen.
Yes. And
so I was like, okay, I don't want to know like what the calories and macros of what I'm eating are. But then as I dove into it, like, it's like, you're like a hungry little rat. Like, it's like once I reopened that Pandora's box.
Oh, yeah.
Like I needed to know. And it was also like I was constantly playing the game of like, okay, I'm supposed to eat a salad with chicken and blah, blah, blah tonight, but I'm going out to dinner, so I need to alter. So I need to know what the macros of this meal are so I can get the closest to it. And yeah, I just opened Pandora's box and
Yeah, we started off with the best intentions.
yeah.
And then somewhere along the way, we had lost the plot.
Yeah, lost the plot. And stress was at an absolute maximum.
At an absolute maximum, all-time high.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember at one point, do you remember this? We were on the phone and you were telling me just about how hard you were going. And I think I literally said like, okay, I'm not going to tell you not to, but I will say you probably will regret this and you're going to need to rein it in when the wedding's over.
Yeah. I remember having multiple conversations with you where you were like, so do we want to talk about this now or are we going to table this until the wedding's over? And I was like, we're tabling it. We're tabling it.
Like, okay, and say less.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like aware during the process, but I just was having a really hard time slowing myself down.
Yeah. And to be fair, you did look freaking amazing. You looked insane, cuckoo caca insano.
It's like, thank you. But like I wish I could say I was in like the most mentally healthy space I'd ever been in while I felt like my body looked the healthiest it had ever been. But unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case.
Well, yeah, let me preface that with you also looked insane like after your wedding, like 6 months after when you were like trying to get the reins back and you started doing everything healthily and it was like, oh wait, I look the same, but I don't want to eat my arm off.
Yeah. But yeah, but the process while I was engaged was eye-opening in a lot of ways as well. So we kind of just highlighted like the negative side of it.
Yeah, let's talk about the positives.
The positives were as I had said before, I had always kind of like been in this like state of like lying to myself of I do everything right and my body will just never be the size I want it to be.
She will never get in line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like not the case. Like I can be the size that I want to be.
Yeah.
It's just if I were to go back in time, like where I really went wrong was trying to like cram it all in such a short period of time while I was also so stressed.
Sure, yeah.
And not sleeping enough. And it's like I think I could have achieved the same results had I been calm and less like nervous system fried.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just no balance in place.
Yeah.
And I think with the added balance, you kind of found the perfect recipe. Would you say?
Yeah. And like right now I would say like I'm feeling really good again. But yeah, coming out of my wedding, I had gotten COVID, like to paint the picture for how stressed I really was. Like by the time the wedding actually came, I literally I just tested negative for COVID, but I got a crazy virus the week of the wedding and just went down like I've never gone down before.
You were the sickest I've ever seen you.
I could barely get from my bed to like the downstairs of my house for one of our nurses to come give me an IV. Like I was like, I could barely like lift my arm. I was like so weak.
Right. And the wedding was in 3 days.
The wedding was in 3 days. And that's what I remember my wedding planner, shout out Steph, was like asking me to like make all these last minute decisions. And I was like, I literally can't. You know my taste. I trust you. Just do your thing. Like,
right.
I literally can't make any more decisions. Just like do what I would do.
I remember I asked you like, oh, what about this? You were like, I don't know. And like at that point, you were like, I don't care.
Yeah. Rehearsal dinner was a complete surprise. Like the tablescape and like all of the details. Right. I showed up this. I was like, this is beautiful. Everyone was like, oh my God, these plates are gorgeous. Did you choose these? I was like, nope, they're a complete surprise to me.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. At least she knew your taste.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She killed it. Crushed it.
Yeah. Honestly, in retrospect, should have done that more. Should have just been like, I don't know, just do it for me.
Truly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we made it to the wedding. Wedding is over. You go on your honeymoon.
Yep.
Now we're back. How are we feeling?
So as my nervous system came down, I started to develop what I now know is something called mast cell activation syndrome.
Okay.
Where I sneeze a lot.
A
lot. You experienced a little bit of it this morning. I still have it a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry for yelling at you.
Yeah, it's fine.
To preface, I'm not mean. I was trying to sleep. Okay, moving on.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it was really, really bad. And so now I understand it was both the physical, mental, and emotional stress kind of rebounding. So like your adrenaline will carry you through stressful times, and it's your body's protection mechanism.
Right.
If you're going through stress, your body doesn't know the difference between good stress and bad stress. So I was stressed about all these happy things, but it's like as far as my body knows, I could be suffering a family death, or you know what I mean, like
about to be mauled by a tiger.
Yeah, like exactly.
You were in fight or flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then it's like once you come down, especially someone like me who has a history of chronic inflammatory stuff, my body really started to rebound. So I started to develop what's called mast cell activation syndrome, and I kind of went through another round of this, like going to all these different doctors and no one really having a clear understanding of what's going on. Like I would get bits and pieces because like I'm so lucky that I have so many resources, and I've even done a lot of these conversations on the podcast of kind of asking people like what's going on and how do I solve this issue.
Right. I remember for the longest time we thought it was like mold that was affecting you.
Yeah, we went through the mold phase.
Right. Yeah. There was a mold phase.
There was a mold phase. I did every functional medicine test under the sun.
Yeah.
Remember I did that DNA test where I cut chunks of my hair?
I do.
You had to cut it from the root, and it was so much hair. It was so traumatizing.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
That was like, that's when I was like, are we sure?
Yeah. Like, we may have
Do we need to find out?
Yeah, are we sure that's even going to help? But yeah, I did like every functional medicine test under the sun, and then we thought it was mold. So I stopped drinking coffee because I thought the mold was coming from the coffee because...
Poor girl.
I know. But like, I'm happy I switched. I'm a matcha girl now.
You are. You're a matcha queen.
Yeah. But yeah, and I'm still working through it. I actually just met with a practitioner that specializes in this, which is really, really rare.
Yeah, it's unheard of. I didn't know what this was. I mean, I'm also like a layman in this kind of community, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me more about the practitioner.
Well, it's just interesting. Like I almost feel like it's like it just feels very similar to when I was first dealing with my PCOS.
Right.
To now where like some people have kind of heard of it, very rarely. I am finding a lot of people, like the more people and patients I talk to, it seems to be a commonality amongst people with long COVID. Yeah.
So what is it essentially?
I'm not a doctor and I'm not like the most qualified to explain this, but my understanding of it is you have mast cells, which are a type of cell that either produce or trigger histamine responses.
Okay.
So it's also called like histamine intolerance a lot, but it's all like interrelated with your immune system. And essentially what's happening is my body's overreacting. So similar to when somebody has an autoimmune disease, it's like it's their immune system's almost overreacting.
Okay.
My mast cells are doing something similar. So I'm going to have an expert on to talk about this more and educate the audience in case anyone else is going through this. But my main symptoms were that I sneeze a ton and it threw off my hormones again. So I started dealing with PCOS symptoms again. And my progesterone was like completely bottomed out from stressing my body so much.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm now actually on a low dose of progesterone, which has helped regulate my cycle. And now I'm on some good supplements as well that help regulate my cycle. Myo-inositol has been really helpful. I take berberine to balance my blood sugar. I also just like, I'm very sensitive to sugar. Like if I eat something really sugary, I sneeze and get this kind of runny nose. And I'm very sensitive to just a lot of things with inflammation in my body. Right. But the more I calm my nervous system and give myself time to rest, rest and digest, the better I feel. So it's a balancing act.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the little cocktail you were on that you just got off of?
So yeah, throughout the journey, I started a peptide stack that was so helpful for my MCAS. I was on thymosin alpha-1, which is super helpful for your immune system. It helps your immune system function really strong. And I really loved that. I'm also on PDA, which is also known as BPC 157. And that's a really common peptide. It's where a lot of people start with peptides because it can be really helpful for just healing the body as a whole.
Okay. It
helps the body heal and lower inflammation. And for me, I felt a lot of inflammation lower in my gastrointestinal tract. So I've kind of had IBS symptoms for a while now, and it really helped with that. And I just felt like it helped bring my inflammation down as a whole.
Okay.
And then the last one was tirzepatide, a GLP-1. And I started with a really, really, really tiny dose because coming back to that bioindividuality, I had actually tried a small dose of semaglutide a year or so ago, and it didn't make me feel good.
Right.
So I was really scared to try a different GLP-1.
Okay.
So I started at like the tiniest little dose, and then just like very, very, very slowly worked my way up. The maximum dose I was on was where most people start.
Yeah.
Like 2.5 milligrams, something like that.
Okay.
And that made such a world of difference, especially for my hormonal balance. It helped regulate my cycle. It helped bring my inflammation down further. And that's where I really noticed that even when I'm in like a much healthier phase of like my mental and emotional side of my relationship with my body, I still have a lot of food noise.
I was just going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Because I know you mentioned at one point you were thinking about food 90% of the time.
Yeah.
I think once you kind of build that muscle, that kind of never goes away. I mean, you can kind of work on it, but it's always on your mind.
Yeah.
So first, can you break down what food noise is? Because I feel like it's talked about a lot, but not explained for those that don't have it.
Yeah. It's when you are just thinking about food in the background of your mind constantly, which I feel like I've been doing since I can remember. Since the first time, like I made a TikTok a while ago about the fact that Michelle Shapiro, the girl that's a specialist with MCAS, is also a specialist with eating disorders. And like I learned there's no binging without restricting. And for me, there's no food noise without restricting to some degree.
Sure.
And it's, for me, like restricting didn't even always mean like restricting. It's just like there's like almost like this fine line between like being mindful of eating balanced meals, being mindful and intentional about what I'm eating to serve my body in the way that I want to feel, and also like not giving in to like somebody just brought in donuts and ice cream and like kind of giving into that whim all the time. Like there's an element of discipline, and it's like this fine line between like I practice discipline, but I do have food noise. Like there's my body's craving things, or just like, there's just like you're always thinking about your next meal and like what it's going to be. And for me, a lot of it is like, how am I going to like I'm going to make spaghetti and meatballs, but how am I going to do a healthier version?
Right.
And that's not always bad. But it was very interesting to just reduce that. And it almost made life very simple.
Right. It's mentally exhausting. You don't realize how much it's there until it's not.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Okay.
And I actually felt myself getting a lot more creative with the absence of it.
How so?
I felt like I had a lot more brain clarity, which is also just reduction of inflammation in the brain.
Okay.
I just felt a lot more clear, and with clarity came a lot more creativity.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I love that, though.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about, so GLP-1s, everyone's talking about them. It's very controversial.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you've touched on disordered eating a bit. I've seen people have cause for concern about GLP-1s with people who struggle with eating, or how it could be very dangerous for eating disorders, or even just how people, everyone's saying like people could take advantage of it, blah, blah, blah. Can you talk a little bit about that and sort of educate the audience?
Yeah. And once again, I'm not a medical practitioner. I'm not a doctor, but
No.
And I have a lot of thoughts about this. Like, I feel like especially you and I could do a whole podcast about just this.
Totally.
And it's interesting because I think back on my younger self and how much I've learned through each phase of my health journey. And I've learned a lot. Would I have learned all that if I had access to GLP-1s when I was 16, 17? I think I still would have. Because I'm still someone who's very interested in optimizing. I mean, the name of my podcast is the Healthspan Collective.
Totally.
And, and for me, that means like living my best and healthiest life in each chapter of life. Like,
right.
I say all the time, I don't care about living to 100 or 110.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God willing, if I can live healthily into a late age like that, great, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I just want to live at whatever age I'm at. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, I want to feel really well. And so I think I would have still had a lot of that interest. I was actually talking about this with Krista Williams when she was on the pod.
Mm-hmm.
But there is an element to me of like, would I be sitting in this seat? Like, would I have learned as much as I've learned? Because if I was able to take a GLP-1 when I was younger and kind of got rid of this weight issue, would I still be interested in health in the way that it was? Because it was a big driver of why I got so interested in health, was that I wanted to crack the code on how I could be a healthy weight and feel good in my body.
Sure. Well, I feel like we've talked about before of, what would have happened if you didn't have health issues. It would have never led you to your passion. So it's kind of like...
It's like this double-edged sword.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think at the end, like, the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, no, I still would have gotten into all this stuff because I still, like...
It's a passion of yours.
It is. It really is a passion. And it is so intertwined with the way I feel in my brain. And I want to feel clear and creative and, even on a GLP-1, like, while it helps so much in those ways, like, what also helps is all the other stuff I do. Like,
sure.
I eat very clean now, like, meaning just like I really focus on that whole food diet that my health coach back in the day taught me how to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And I barely drink at all nowadays, which has made probably a bigger difference than anything.
Sure.
And I know how to like take care of my mental health. I journal every morning. I take time to myself. All those things really help.
Yeah.
So, and the whole conversation with GLP-1s and eating disorders is nuanced, and should be handled with care.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that it makes me nervous when people are on GLP-1s where they don't even speak to a practitioner face to face.
Right.
Because there should be some element of evaluation happening on the practitioner side, in my opinion, of, is this person already underweight? And what dose are they on?
Right.
Just having the conversation of speaking with them, asking them about their relationship with food. I have spoken to people who are not our patients, but are getting GLP-1s through other sources, who have a very unhealthy relationship with food, and it can fuel an eating disorder. Like, it's much easier to be anorexic on a GLP-1 than not.
Sure.
So it's scary in that way. It can be scary. Like, it's genuinely like any other pharmaceutical. Like, it should be handled seriously.
Consult your doctor.
Consult your doctor,
Yeah.
truly, and find a good doctor.
Yes, yes. And it is, like we said before, one size does not fit all. What works for Tom, Dick, and Harry will not work for you. So.
And right, and that goes for the doses as well. Like, you know, my friend who, same thing, like, you know, it's like my friend who is the same height and weight as me might be on a very different, might thrive on a very different dose than I do, you know?
For sure.
But I think it's also been so interesting. The more research that comes out, the more really credible people I hear talk about it. You know, Andrew Huberman, for example, has been open about doing a micro dose of it. I think he takes the shot once a month, and it really helps just calm inflammation in the body. And they're calling it a longevity drug now for great reason.
Right.
So yeah, all that to say, I think it's complicated. I think it should be really handled with care, but it can be an incredible tool for a lot of people. And I felt really incredible on it.
Yeah.
I've now come off of all my peptides because I want to start optimizing my body for conception, for fertility. And my practitioner was most comfortable with me being off all my peptides for 90 days before I even start trying to conceive. So yeah. And it's been interesting. I definitely, like, it was one of those things where, like, I knew I was feeling really good, but then when I came off of them, I was like, oh dang, those were making me feel really good. And like, I am feeling some of that inflammation that I had before. But you know, using all the tools I know how to use to continue to optimize, like to lower the inflammation in different ways.
For sure.
That are safe for, you know, the next phase of life that I'm transitioning into.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, once again, it's focusing on a lot of those whole foods. It's being on a lot of the right supplements that have been, you know, recommended to me by my particular practitioners. Acupuncture has been very helpful. Red light bed at Pure Form has been very helpful.
Love the red light bed.
Love the red light bed. I did an EBO2 the other day, and that made me feel really good.
I'm sure.
That lowers, I got so much inflammation in the bucket. Yeah.
Did you take a picture?
Yeah, I have to send it to you.
Yeah,
show it to you. I usually would get like this much when I would do it in the past. I have a full bucket of foam, and that's inflammatory proteins.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. Okay. That's tea.
But yeah, so all these different things I'm doing. Hydrogen has been really helpful for lowering the inflammation. So it's just kind of incorporating all these new things into my, not new, but like making sure I'm making a point to incorporate all these things into my routine.
Yeah.
To just keep, it's like almost like keeping my lymphatic system going. I dry brush while I'm at home. I even like gua sha, like I gua sha my face every morning.
Yeah.
Which really helps. It feels really good. And I even bought tools to like gua sha my body, which feels really good.
Okay.
So all of those things are really helping.
Yeah. Doing all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Follow her on TikTok for her routine because she drops a lot of helpful stuff.
Yeah. And once again, trying to have balance and awareness of like doing the most is not the best thing for me.
No.
So the most important thing I do is sleep 8 hours every night at least.
Such a priority.
Yeah.
So necessary.
Yeah. And just giving myself downtime and rest.
I love that. And I also want to point out, like, the more you've gone on your own health journey, but it has helped so many people. And I think the more you discover what works for you, just also helps you help others. I know helping others is a big passion for you. I mean, you've been a big sister your whole life, and I feel like in time you will almost be like a holistic big sister to your followers or like the people that are interested in things like this. So
Truly, nothing gives me more joy than when I have younger girls reaching out to me now asking about navigating their PCOS. It doesn't give me joy that they're dealing with these things, but it gives me joy that I have advice to give. And I always say, like, I have shed so many tears over the years trying to crack the code on how to handle this stuff. And if I can reduce that heartache for you, like my job is done.
Right. Yeah, you get to be the person that you didn't have when
Yeah.
you were their age.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a beautiful thing. It's so full circle.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Was there anything else you
Trying.
wanted to touch on?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being on my podcast. Tell the people where they can find you.
Stay tuned. Have Mackenzie takeovers. Yeah, you can follow the podcast at Healthspan Collective. You can follow me at Nicole J. Doran on both Instagram and TikTok. I'm trying to make more and more content about just like health tips and tricks and things I've tried over the years.
Yeah, like I said, keep an eye out for content coming soon.
Yeah, content coming soon. And then our businesses at Pureform Health and at Humanaut_FL.
Okay.
And where can people find you?
Now you can follow me at Mackenzie Peterson with 2 N's. And then on TikTok, MenTB.
And one day we'll talk about your whole journey because you have a very different
Oh, do I have lore to drop?
but interesting journey.
Yeah. One day, very far in the future.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.